I have 10 minutes.
Yeah, go right ahead. So, I'm gonna give you guys a choice right now. So you can be at the very start. You can be a Pict. These all have different racial stuff. You can be a Pict. You can be a Roman, a Cymric, or an Irish. Now they all have different things. Whereas the Cymric has spear mastery. It's one of their special abilities. They cover the spear weapon group, so lances, spears, javelins, and boar spear. Yeah, and boar spear. Irish have music. They have basically any musical stat is linked into that skill. The Picts have stock, which covers hunting and awareness. And the Romans have law, which covers intrigue and courtesy. And these are all skills. Now, I will give you character sheets when you click that link and you join the game. Let's do Rob. And all we're doing right now, we won't worry about characters at all. We'll just worry about getting histories. So this is going to tell you a bit about the world that you're coming into, right? So as Pendragon, what it is like a knight story. It's the great, wonderful story of the Pendragons. So it goes all the way from Uther to Arthur, which is really only one generation, but you get to find out about the world if you understand me. So I guess like this is kind of where like as I'm preparing, do you have any questions about the world, like what kind of like how surreal the system is, like what's going on in the world, anything at all? And obviously peruse the book at your will, you know.
Well, I think I have a. Go ahead.
Go ahead. This is super low fantasy, I'm guessing, right? Like as far
well, there is like there is elements of fantasy, there is magic, but it is low fantasy. And the fact that you are playing a knight, you will never come past being a knight. You don't like if you learn how to cast spells in this game, you lose 8 honor just immediately. And honor is like if you get below 4 in honor, your character, you have to give your character sheet to me, and you become like, you lose your titles, you lose your land, your family becomes disinherited, and all that other stuff. So it's bad. And Pendragon 5th edition, they brought it all in, and decided to focus on the main story of the Pendragon and how your knights are the main story of that. Like nothing happens in this universe without the player knights being there and doing the things that make it happen. If you get what I'm saying. So the Pendragon story is really about the player knights. Like,
well, I mean, isn't that kind of the whole point of the whole Arthurian Avalon thing? Is it was more about not just him but his entire crew.
Yes, this game's all about passions, traits, the knightly passions, about going insane, about falling in love, about breaking. This game breaks a lot of RPG mold, in my opinion. And it's really lethal. Like you're going to be playing your knight, and then you're going to be playing the son of your knight, or the relative of your knight, or the relative of the knight. Like this stuff passes down on your family, and we'll get to that eventually. So I'm going to put GGP. Who left?
Bo did.
Okay. Well, let's see. GGP for your grandfathers. I'm going to go ahead and that. Now, what we're going to do is for your own to follow along, we're going to go to the Salisbury Family History, and like I said, you don't have to choose what race you are, but like races cover like Cymric, Irish, Roman, and Pict. Pict is usually the worst. In fact, it is the worst. But those are the only you could pick at the beginning. Now, let me go to Salisbury Family History.
I'm trying to look at the information about them right now.
The information about whom?
The different races.
Oh, most of them you can't find them in the core rule book. You can only find the Kimric in the core rule book, I believe.
Because I've always had kind of a fascination over the Teutonic Knights and things like that, so I wouldn't mind.
You can end up playing them. You can end up playing them. In fact, you can form your own religious orders in this game, because they haven't spawned yet. Like, you begin the game in the early medieval ages. If you follow me, basically, you can form your own. You can form your own religious orders, but as per being from the Teutonic area, you can't until later. Until later in the game, because obviously nobody's made the Teutonic Order, gone there, and came back yet.
Well, I've always had a huge fascination for Romans.
Yeah, so to just give you an idea of when this takes place, like only about 30 years ago did the Britons say, or the Romans basically say to the Britons, defend yourselves because we can't help defend you because the Saxons and the Germanic tribes are taking over the area and like pushing back. Like, Rome hasn't fallen yet. It's about to. In fact, it falls during play.
No, it works. It could just be one of the Romans who stayed behind.
Yeah, like the you would have Roman stats, but you'll have the base skills of being raised in a certain place, if you get what I'm saying. And there are other things that happen to it, but let's go to history. Family history, page 57. Yep, there it is. So it's in page 57 of 5.2. I've got my book open on my lap. So both of you in roll 20. Every time I say roll, you're going to roll d20 unless otherwise stated, okay?
Okay. 1 second. We got like 12 tabs open trying to figure different things out while I'm... Because, yeah. All right,
Rob.
Okay, now did you say we had character sheets in here somewhere?
Yes, I'll be giving them to you just a second.
Okay,
they are
I just didn't know if I was supposed to have one on.
And you will be getting them now. Chris, yours is up. Should be able to see it. Dungeon Master, you should be able to see yours.
Yep.
I'm trying to figure out where I am on here.
You need to hit the...
there it is.
There's quite a lot.
Auric.
Yeah, you can name it whatever you want. I just created a random one. But yeah, we'll move on from that and just get on with the family history so I don't keep you here literally all night. Nor do I want to stay here all night. But page 57, if you want to follow along. So,
Working on it.
Just let me know when you're both there. And Rob, did you hear me about the roll a d20 anytime I say roll, unless stated otherwise? Okay. So you could just make a macro. In fact, I think I have a macro available for you. You could just go to the macro bar and hit go. Or put it in your bar and you can roll it. I think it's named General. Yeah, it's visible on all players. And so if you just put that in your bar, you can just click it and it'll roll a d20 just like that every time. Or you can just type #general and it'll roll it for you. Anyway, but yeah, are you both there?
Yeah.
Okay, so just to read you a little bit of a blurb about what this is. So, during these following tables, your family history is going to be determined year by year. The first year is 439 AD. This will include a explanation of the method to be used for your grandfather's and father's history. We won't worry about that. That's wordy, and we don't need to worry about it. I'll make note of any passions and stuff like that, so I'll do your bookkeeping for you. But when your grandfather dies, you're going to take 1/10 of his final glory and then add 1,000 to that. So if your grandfather has 2,000, you take 200 and then add 1,000 to that, so it becomes 1,200. When it becomes 1,200, that's your father's starting glory. If you follow me, you get 1,000 for being knighted.
Okay.
I'll remind you as we go. I'm doing like a really rushed version too, which it sucks, but anyway, let's see. So I'm going to start it off. So your grandpa was born in 410 AD. This is for both of you, by the way, as I'm reading it. The last year that Britain was a part of the Roman Empire. Irish raiders from the west, Picts from the north, and Saxons from the east were ruthlessly harrying the island. The nobles sent a letter to their emperor to ask for imperial help, preferably in the form of legions, to fight off the invaders. However, Emperor Honorius had no armies to spare, and instead he sent only a return letter with the now famous line, "Look to your own defenses." From that moment forward, no Briton considered his land to be a part of the Roman Empire. The High Council of Britain nobles, called the Supreme Collegium, debated and at last chose a leader. Struggling to raise an army of their own, the man they chose, named Constantine, a Briton of wealth and renown, then chose 1 man and 1,000 to be a military leader, an eques, or as they say in Latin, or in our tongue, a knight. Among those first native knights was your great-grandfather. His first son, your grandfather, grew up in a dangerous land studying the ways of weapons and warfare. Your grandfather was knighted in 431 by Earl Reginald of Salisbury, and proudly took his place in the army of King Constantine. For the first several years, your grandfather witnessed vicious religious debates as Saint Germanus worked unsuccessfully to stamp out British Christianity. And at this time period, British Christian Church and the Roman Christian Church are two completely different things, because you have the very foundings of the Roman Church, and then you have the separated British Church. Now, in our history, the British Christian Church got basically wiped out. There was a couple of religious wars where it was basically a crusade before there were crusades, and they just stamped it out. Think of it as a pre-Protestant almost. But in this time period, the British Christian Church is still around. But anyway, coming back to that, barbarian raids against which he fought and continued along the borders of Britain and on the European continent. Great hordes of the Germanic tribes swept over the failing Roman Empire. Choose a name for your great-grandfather and his son, your grandfather, from among the names in the character generation chapter. Don't worry about that. You can just name Grandpappy for right now. Doesn't really matter. Great-grandpappy and Grandpappy. You'll name them later. And in fact, I'll give you guys a software where you can track your families later on, because it's gonna get massive.
Okay, and so this is the people tab of the.
You can put it in there, but there'll be actual software that makes it easier later on that I'll help you set up at a later date.
Okay, well, I'm just wondering where I'm supposed to be recording what we're doing here.
Oh, I'm doing your math for you. So basically,
okay.
You're just sitting in and listening to the history.
Oh, fair enough.
Listening to my sultry voice. No. Okay, so did that.
Oh, you sexy booger, you.
Okay, so your great-grandfather died sometime shortly before your grandfather was knighted. At the time of his death, his glory was as follows: 1,000 for being knighted, plus roll a d20. Times it by 100. So Chris has 12. 1,200 to 2,200. Go ahead. Rob, I need you to hit. Oh, okay, so 2,600. There we go. 2,200, 2,600. So your great-grandpappies respectively have that much money, or glory, and glory is experience.
Wouldn't it be 2,400?
No. Because the way the first one works.
Okay, I'm
so
sorry.
The first one... No, it's fine. So, the way the first one works is that you get 1,000 just for being knighted, and then you get 1d20 times 100. This is your great-grandfather. This is the reason why he got knighted. Now, your grandfather is going to take a tenth of that, plus 2d20, so both of you roll 2d20s, so hit that button twice. $21 for Dungeon Master, and then 28, 21, and then this will be 1,000, 220, 248. So your grandfather starts with Chris. Grandfather starts with 1,248 glory, glory is your experience in the system. Also, it's your renown and all that other stuff. It gives you a lot of bonuses, and that's how you rank up, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And for you, you're going to have 260s, 281, 1,281. Rob. So your grandfather was just a smidgen more glorious than Chris's. Just a smidgen. Now you're going to be like, what the fuck, in a minute when this stuff just changes completely.
He was a bigger deal in the Romans.
I like that. Okay, so yeah. So the year is 439. This is a typical year for its era. The Saxons raid heavily, but are driven off by the noble knights of Britain. A special note is the fact that an heir is born into your family sometime during this year. Your father. Your father is born in the year 439. So 439, down F, born. And that's a special year, right? And I'll help you figure that out later. But your father is born in 439. Now, both of you roll. Okay, tell me your results.
Fire. 5.
11.
Okay, so Chris, your grandfather did nothing significant that year. Rob, your grandfather fought at the Battle of Caerleon. Roll below. So, go ahead and roll.
Had an audio.
So Rob, your grandfather fought at the Battle of Caerleon. Roll below.
All right.
Roll. What'd you get?
17.
17. Survived. Continue history. Roll for passion. So I'm now going to roll this for you. And this is just for my own keeping. Now, I will say that every person in this family history gets a mulligan. So you can roll again once. If you want. And usually this is saved for deaths and whatnot. This is going to get 30 glory on top of that. So it's going to be... You're going to get 100. Okay. And next year. Oh, I need you to roll for a passion. So you're going to get... Roll a d20, Rob. What'd you get?
13.
No passion gained. Okay. Year 440. During this year, King Constantine is murdered by one of his own guards, a Silchester knight. Roll a d20.
7 for me.
Okay.
15 for me.
15. Served garrison duty, survived Pictish raiding for Robb, gained 10 glory, so it's... And then this is your 440. This is... And, for Chris, served garrison duty, killed by Pictish raiders, gained 20 glory, end history. Okay, so you might want to re-roll that. What'd you get?
4.
I don't want you to die here, so you're going to keep your mulligan, and I'm going to say that you served garrison duty and survived Pictish raiding. You're going to gain 10 glory, because I'm not fucking you out of experience like that. Fuck, you would start so low. Yeah, 150... 8. Okay. It's 40, and then 141. Okay. Years 441 to 442, at the urging of Duke Vortigern of the Goyesi, which is a tribe of Britain at this time, the High Council chooses King Constans, the young son of King Constantine, as king. Constans is a young, bookish type, however, so he relies on his uncle, Duke Vortigern, for advice. Roll below.
17.
17 and...
15.
17 and 15. Served garrison duty. Survived raiding. Gained 20 glory. 78 and... 40. Okay. And... 43. Year 443. Young King Constans is murdered by his Pictish bodyguards. After much debate, Duke Vortigern is selected to be the next king of Britain. The younger brothers of King Constans are spirited away to Brittany in secret. Also, this year, a prelate for the Pope, saintly Germanus, comes to Britain to condemn and combat British Christianity. Your grandfather either resists or supports this, depending upon your family's choices of religion. And this is where you pick your religion. You can pick pagan. You can pick Roman Christian. You can pick heathen. For it. If you're going to pick heathen, you have to be a pig. If you're Irish, you can be pagan or British Christian. I suppose you could be a British Christian for...
Irish and pagan here.
Okay, all right. So you're going to be a pagan, and what about you?
Definitely going to be
Roman Christian. Roman Christian?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I'm going to put 43, grandpa, Roman Christian. What was that, Ted?
I didn't say anything.
Oh, I thought you were about to say something.
Well, I wanted to say that Rob is my boy, pagan, just like me, and Grandpappy.
Grandpappy. Yeah. Well, with 3 people, I'm more than happy to get this ball rolling. Ted.
Oh, that means I have to actually work on my guy.
But yeah, the next, so you both survived this year, right? Or have we rolled for 443 yet? No, we haven't. Go ahead and roll.
14.
13.
14 and 13. 14 and 13. Served garrison duty, survived rating, gained 10 and 20 glory. Okay, so your grandpappies right now have done a whole lot of fuck all.
They were really a big deal back in Rome.
Both of them.
Yes.
All right. Year 444 to 445. Picts stage a massive invasion, with their armies occupying much of the north and bands of raiders penetrating all the way into Logris. Rather than risking great loss, King Vortigern orders his armies to dig in and garrison their homes and holdings. Like a coward. Roll a d20.
We both got 13.
No way. That's cool. Served garrison.
I haven't rolled yet. This one.
Oh.
15.
Oh, I'm sorry, I misread your...
Both of you served garrison duty. Gained sin glory. Fuck, you guys really are doing nothing. Ted's grandfather had died already. Or some shit.
He was a bitch.
Your father was
Well,
pretty cool,
to be fair, my grandfather died like right off the bat. You pulled him out of the fire.
I was just like, no, I'm not having. No, your grandfather went missing, Ted. That's what it was.
Yeah, he was getting some ladies somewhere. Got the VD. Couldn't come home.
Couldn't face his wife.
Something like that.
So 46. Year 46. King Vortigern realizes that he needs assistance against the furious Picts, and in good Roman fashion, he hires new barbarians to fight the old ones. The Saxon kings Hengist and Horsa come from the continent with their bands of warriors to join Vortigern's army. Thus reinforced, Britain marches north against the Picts. Battle is met near the city of Lincoln, and it's a great victory for the British. Roll d20.
17.
3.
17 and 3. Okay, served garrison duty and survived. Saw little to no combat, so nothing for Jaminos. And, what'd you get, Rob?
17.
Fought at the Battle of Lincoln. I need you to roll a d20, Rob.
Roll a 1, roll a 1, roll a 1.
13.
Okay. Holy shit. Okay, well, that gets added to your thing. So you rolled a 13 on that one? What did he get? Survived, continue
passion.
history.
Passion.
Passion table 443. Go ahead and roll d20. You want to shoot high?
12.
Roll a d6 plus 6. Be fool. 8. Did you hear me, Rob?
A 7.
8 pick 7. Okay, so your grandpappy has hate pick 7. And that was year 46. You got 240, I believe it was. 240 from that. 1, 5, 6, 2, 0. 0. Okay, and next year's 47 to 49. During this time, King Vortigern spares his own army, using the Saxons to drive the Picts out of the north. More Saxons come to Britain, including many families. Hengist's daughter, Rowena, becomes a favorite at Vortigern's court. News from the continent is persistent in saying that new foes, the Huns, are defeating the German tribes right and left. These savages are thought to be half demon, half horse. Ted didn't get this, by the way. His grandfather already disappeared. Roll.
Yeah, he was a bitch.
4.
Nothing significant occurred.
And 7. Oh.
Rob, I need to put a asterisk by you. And so your family complaint, or actually no, it's Rob. Your family is dissident at this time period, and you are known as such. Wait, no, hold on. Do your grandfathers complain about the barbarians? Yes or no? The new army, and it's known now that Vortigern's favoring his barbarians that he's hired instead of his national Britons. So
then, yeah.
Obviously you're not doing your job, you're just sitting at home. You know, you trained under your, whoever you squired under to be a knight and to fight, and you haven't been really doing that.
Then yeah, we wouldn't like that.
What about you, Chris? Would your grandfather complain? I mean, your grandfather hasn't fought a battle yet in his life.
Yeah, he would be complaining left and right.
Okay. Year 450. Vortigern, impressed with the battle prowess of the Saxons and even more with the talents of Rowena, the daughter of the Saxon chief Hengist, marries her this year in a lavish celebration. Hengist receives the Cantaci Civitas, which is as their bride price, which is the land of Kent. Many voice their concern, and King Vortigern is favoring those newcomers more than the local loyal native Britons. Roll a d20.
15.
12. Jesus Christ, my rolls just suck.
15 and 12. Okay, so you get 25 glory, both of you, because you attend the wedding of you attend the wedding of Vortigern and Rowena. 5. That's 35 for you, and 3. All right, and that is
I am like the worst night ever.
no. You'll find out who the worst night ever. If you died earlier, you would have been the worst night ever. I'm not gonna let you go out like that.
Would you die on the first roll or something?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That's just your grandfather.
You still get your father after this. Okay, so 51. News from the continent indicates that the Huns, led by their king Attila, reached the walls of Rome itself but were able to storm and besiege it. Some say the Huns were stopped because they lacked siege engines. Others say they failed because of the Pope's piety. If only. After failing to smash or bluff Rome into submission, the Hun army turns to Gaul for pillage and plunder, scouring the land of its wealth, slaughtering as it goes. The commander in Gaul, Ictius, calls for help from all who send it. Vortigern sends a small contingent. The allied army meets the Huns at Chalons, where the Huns are defeated and driven from Europe. Cedric is born to Vortigern in Rowena. If your grandfather complained about Vortigern in the years 47 to 50, roll on the events table. 51B. So, what did you guys get?
A 12.
Okay. And I need one from Chris. Chris. Okay. Well, I'll do yours real quick. You get to go fight. So roll a d20 there, Rob.
Okay. A 9.
A 9. Okay. You have gotten survived. The survivors, all of whom were knights dissatisfied with Vortigern's policies, return home to Britain with great glory. Vortigern welcomes them with honeyed words but bitter heart. Basically, he planned for you to have died, and he sent your grandfather there because he was dissident. So, I will give you this. 1d6. 45 times 1d6 times 3. This is a big one. Oh, you rolled a 1. You can re-roll that if you want. You can re-roll that if you want. Or get me to re-roll it.
Okay.
Do you want to? Otherwise, like, if you do, you have a chance of getting because I rolled a 1 there, if you can see it.
Okay.
You can use your 1 re-roll per life that you get, so your grandfather gets 1, your father gets 1. You can use it here to get more glory, because right now you're getting 135 out of this. You rolled a 1.
Okay, and we're somewhere near the end of the grandpa's life.
Pretty much,
here.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll burn it.
My internet crashed.
Go ahead and give me a d20 then. Oh, bullshit. I'm not doing that. There we go.
I better have participated in this.
You did.
Unless you roll a 1.
Well, you did, then you
17.
just die, right?
Uh, 5.
You get a 1 or a 2, you die gloriously this one.
Yep. So, I need you to roll there, Chris. Oh, there it
I
is.
did 17.
Okay, and I will do this for you. Nice. So plus 675, so it becomes 8.
So anytime Rome's involved, my family seems to be all over that shit.
Yeah, that's about right. So this is 51. And you have a hate passion of that with the picks. Okay, so Rob, yours is used up. So we'll go on to here. Now, what I was saying, the reason what happened to your grandfather, since he complained, he was sent to help Atius in the Battle of Chalons, and basically, you survived, or your grandfather survived. Vortigern welcomes him back with, honeyed words and a bitter heart because he wanted your grandfather to die because he was complaining. And, your grandfather came back with 500 something more glory. Like, or 675. It was almost 700 glory. So, years 52 to 54, Northern Irish under Feargos began colonizing Dalradia, which is Welsh lands. Vortigern sends raids into the Irish lands. So, roll d20.
7.
5.
Nothing happens. Years 55 to 56. News arrives that Rome, the center of the civilized world, has been sacked. The tribe of Germans called the Vandals has done the impossible and brought Rome low. The Western Empire is finished. Vortigern moves on the Camovi warriors to Genovia. And I'd have to get the pronunciation on that, but basically the forces in Cambria, the tribe in Cambria, where they expel the Irish. Vortigern is persuaded to settle Saxons under Hengist's sons Octa and Yosa in the former Parisi lands, founding Nauhut and Dieria. Shiploads of continental Saxons flocked to the new Thodes. Roll below.
11.
3.
Whew, close. Nothing happens. Because you're sitting on your ass and the Saxons are doing everything. 57. High King Vortigern summons his army, drawing from the western tribes, the Saxons, and marches against the rebels. A great battle ensues at Cranford in Kent, which is like to the right from where you'll be starting, in which the rebels are crushed. Vortigern forgives his son, Vortimer, but assumes the regency of Provincie Cadogan's son, Cadel, who is too young to rule. Vortigern gives the rest of the Canti tribe's lands to his loyal Saxons. As a tribe, the Canti are finished. They're a type of Britain. Let's see. All right, roll a d20. So if you're dissident,
19.
are you guys still dissident?
I suppose so.
Okay. So what did you both get?
I got an 8.
I got a 19.
Okay, well, fought at the Battle of Kent. Okay. You guys are gonna be fighting under 47 or 57B, and that is it's 47B. So go ahead and give me a d20 roll, both of you.
I got a 1.
Ooh, that's
I got
good.
a 9.
So, Jaminos, or Chris, your grandfather in the year 457 to be exact, has died. And he is going to... Now, do you want to re-roll it? I would suggest not, because you get 1,000 glory off this.
Okay.
7 end. Okay, and what did you get?
9.
9. Got a 9. Survived. Roll for passion.
20.
Yeah.
4.
No passion gained. But I will have to do this. Tet, do you want to roll me 30 times 1d6 times 0.75? Or do you think that's too much for you? Fuck it, I got it. So that's for Chris. And that is for plus 90. And obviously, I'll sit down with you guys after all this, and we'll talk about it out of session. And there are a couple things that you get to do to characters when you create them, right? Like, there are more to it than just the family history, but the family history is the biggest part because you get to learn about the world, really. So, plus 90, and then plus, what for Chris, 45? Now, if you have questions, don't be afraid to ask, because this will be the time to ask them about what's going on. Otherwise, you're going to be confused and never know.
No, I like how it's kind of telling a story based on our roles.
Yep. So your grandfather died in the battle of, if you want to make notes of it somewhere, but I'll write it down for you. He died in the Battle of Kent under Vortimer, as Vortimer rebelled. Under Vortimer, Kent. Bat of Kent under Vortimer. Put in parentheses rebel. This is all important stuff, actually, because this will follow down to your family tree, because people will call you, you rebelled against before and stuff like that. It's 3, it's 5, and then 90, so it's 5. 6, and then 1, 2. Okay, and that was 57, 58 through 59. Obviously, Chris, you're out from this point on. Rob, we're going to continue with you. So we're going to pick up in 58.
Okay.
59. Many dissident Britons depart from the island, moving with their families and possessions to Brittany. Your grandfather, loyal to the Earl of Salisbury, remains. So roll a d20.
11.
11. Served garrison duty. Saw little to no combat. Okay, so 460. This is when both of your fathers become born. Or rather, knights, I should say. Let me flip this over. 460. That up at the top. We'll put Chris for father. Chris and Rob. Do 304? No. Okay. What did you have? 2, 2.
Who needs college math? Start playing this game.
Yeah, I know, right? You should see my fucking scribbles right now. It's insane. Alright, so, there we go. I'm ready to continue. So, 460. This year begins your father's personal history as a knight. He starts with 1,000 glory, plus 1/10 of his father's total glory for his father, in which blah 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 blah. At this point, your grandfather gains no more glory for your father. So roll a d20.
13.
18.
13. Both your father, well, for Rob, your grandfather and your father served garrison duty, likely together inside the county and of Salisbury, and your father, Chris, served garrison duty as well, so likely alongside Rob's family. 61 to 62. The rule of Vortigern has proved unwise and very oppressive, often favoring his Saxon mercenaries and in-laws over his lawful subjects. Many nobles have talked of rebellion again, and when Vortigern's oldest son, by his first marriage, agrees to lead the nobles, general rebellion breaks loose. The Earl of Salisbury is amongst the rebels to fight in the Battle of Cambridge. Roll a d20.
8.
18. 8 and 18. Okay, so 18. Who got the 8?
I did.
Okay, you get grandfather fought against Vortigern at the Battle of Cambridge. Roll below. So go ahead. I need to copy grandfather. He is
Got a 4.
got a 4. Grandfather survived. Add 10 glory. This is important too, by the way. So if your grandfather has any brothers, and you have to play one of the brothers' sons, it gets even more fucking stupid later on. You have to track all this shit later on. 225. Okay, grandfather, and then fucking just do me a favor, both of you. When you do family rolls, roll low, because fuck Tet. Seriously, go fuck yourself, Tet. I'm gonna have a headache with that. Because I have to do all the math.
What happened to him?
He damn near rolled maximum on like 2 branches of his family. So like, yeah, I hate when people do that because it's like, well, I'm not having a weekend.
Are people dead yet or what?
No, they're not. I'm sitting here complaining about you, actually.
Good, good.
So it's 60, so your grandfather became even more glorious. Your grandfather is still kicking it, man. He's like almost 40-something years old, Rob. Kicking it with the young knights.
What year are you
Mine
on?
died like a chump.
We just passed 460.
You're not like Daddy Duff, but... Oh, you're on grandfather still.
He's still got grandfather, although the fathers have already happened. Like the fathers have already been born.
Yeah.
Born. Fuck. So 61 to 62. So I'm gonna write that down. 61, 62. Blam. Oh, who had that passion from earlier? Oh, so Rob, I needed to ask you. I just didn't see it. Did you want to pass the pick passion down to your father from your grandfather? Did he instill in him the hatred of Picts? Picts are like Scottish people. Think Highlander.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the implications are either way, so sure.
You have a passion, basically. Your father is passionate about hating Picts.
Okay.
Okay, and 62, 60, 61, 62. The root of Vertigan. This is just I've already read it. Okay, so go ahead and roll d20 both. Well, no. Yeah, we just did that.
I never heard what happened to my father or my character's father with the 18.
With the 18, oh, he sat at home.
Really?
Yeah, because
what a chump.
It's unfortunate, but yeah. It only says grandfather fought at the Battle of. Well, actually, no. Hold on, let me look. Ted, your father fought at that, right? I gave that to you.
Which?
61 to 62. Yeah, go ahead, Jiminos. Go ahead, or Chris. Go ahead and roll a d20 for the battle, because you would have participated.
16.
You survived. Gained 10 glory. Oh, and also this. 150. Holy shit! Way to go, fucking Papa.
No, I don't think so. I don't think I was.
No, I'm pretty sure you did. Because your grandfather wasn't alive at this point, but your father was, and I gave you that battle glory. Pretty sure. I'll go back and check, but you have your own.
Hated my grandfather, my character's grandfather, because he was so lazy. It's like, no, I'm going to participate in every battle.
62. Well, you'll see what the glory comes out to, and I promise you, it's not going to be anything outlandish. And often the first person to go in this game is the first person to die. So, and the person with the most glory goes first. So,
I know my glory is low right now.
This is 150. It's 452.
Do you have any idea what? Oh, it's in here. I was like, what the fuck? I couldn't find my glory and stuff. Is this it? Yeah, this is it.
152. And this is page 122, and then your grandfather. I'll give that to him as well. 162. 37. Okay, 62. Well, 63 really.
Chumps ain't gonna have as much glory as I am.
63. Ostensibly, to bring peace to all sides, Vortigern and Hengist called the council of all combatants to meet at Stonehenge for a feast of peace. Seeking reconciliation, almost all British knights attend. The Saxons prove their worth, though, with great treachery. And a majority of the Briton notables are slain in the Night of Long Knives. In subsequent confusion, a large part of their armies are dispersed or slain. The Earl of Salisbury is amongst the dead. So think Red Wedding, but on thousands of people scale. And this all took place at Stonehenge, by the way.
Roll 655.
This is based off of actual history?
Yes, this is well, it happened in history, but it's not documented to how many actually died. But basically,
it did happen.
An event according to this did happen. Yes, there was a situation where they called peace of a rebel thing, and this is where it comes from in lore. Of the Arthurian legend, people backstabbed each other.
Yeah, the Red Wedding is actually based off of
Henry.
Some Scottish, probably the Campbells and somebody else. I can't remember exactly, but
yeah,
the Black Wedding.
But this takes place in a kind of similar style. Yeah. But think Red Wedding, but in thousands of people. But like I said, the rebellion happened, and the Saxons stabbed everyone in the guts, and this is why even the peasants hate the Saxons. Now, in subsequent confusion, now roll a d20, both of you.
11.
Natural 20.
Okay, on a natural 20, you are going to, well, both of you, roll me a 3d6 plus 6. Night of Long Nights, treachery. Your grandfather is murdered. if you have him still alive. Your family gains. If not, your family still gains hate Saxon's passion. 3d6 plus 6.
19.
14.
19 and 14. So, hate Saxon's 18. For Chris, your father hates Saxons almost as much as Tet's father did.
Almost.
And hate Sax 14. Rob, 64. In this year, your father marries to procure an heir rather than for love. He is fortunate that his own father is favored by the Earl of Salisbury, and that were many heiresses now in the wake of the Knight of Long Knives needing protection. He marries a widow with a manor of her own, who, thanks to her former husband, also has a modicum of glory before she remarries. Roll a d20, both of you.
Four.
Ooh, 25 glory for Rob. You can get upwards to 350 on this one, Rob, if you want to re-roll, but, I mean, you could save it.
15. I'm sorry, it didn't show up on my roll. Wait, no, I guess it did. I rolled a 19 before. I just didn't see it.
Okay, well, that one you're going to get a 200 on, so it'd be 66, 2. And
yeah, I guess I'll use my...
Okay, go ahead.
13.
13, you're going to get 100, so that brings you up to that. And 65, Vortigern with his Saxons marches back and forth across Britain, extracting tribute and plunder. Many Britons flee again the land, heading to Brittany, which is that little place off of France that no one remembers. Your father, a young knight, remains in his lands, tends to his manor, and waits with his lord. Vortigern takes refuge in Gomerette, attempting to build a fortress. The youthful Merlin also makes an appearance and begins his career here in this year, 465. At this time period, he's about 20-something. 66 to 67, Aurelius Ambrosius, son of the former King Constantine and brother of Constans, lands in Hampshire with an army from Brittany. He carries a great banner with a red dragon upon it. All across the land, discontented nobles muster their armies and join him. Vortigern seeks to escape, but his Saxon allies go back home to Kent, and many other allies desert him. After besieging a portion of Vortigern's army at Caerleon, Aurelius Ambrosius marches through the entire island, accepting the submission of those loyal to Vortigern. Roll a d20.
8.
12.
8. Fought at the siege of Caerleon. Roll below.
18.
14.
You live.
You live. 15. Oh, wait, no. I typed that wrong. What am I doing wrong? Oh, you both rolled ones. No. Why did I not roll?
There's not a 6 on the 15.
Ah, okay.
You have a D in there. Get rid of that.
That's Chris, and that... So, that'd be 60... respectively. Or 90 and 60, I should say. 90 says...
My father's kicking all kinds of ass.
Yes, that's the same way Tet's dad was too. Don't worry, Rob's gonna pull a hat trick at the end. Okay, so that's that.
Rob actually has a very prestigious family.
Well, his father's failing to catch up, but yes, his grandfather is very prestigious. 465, and that was 67. This is 68. Aurelius Ambrosius and his army pursue Vortigern and besiege him at his new castle at Mount Snowdon. A battle ensues, at which Vortigern is killed and his army is scattered. Aurelius Ambrosius summons the High Council, and they elect him High King. He takes the title of Pendragon, High Dragon or Head Dragon, derived from his great battle banner. Roll a d20.
11.
18 and 11. Fought at the Battle of Snowdon. Roll below.
1.
And 10.
Oh, 1. The old 1.
Dang, Chris. Dang. So,
Bad.
4.
Because I can re-roll it, because I didn't consume my re-roll.
Well, you don't want to reroll this one.
Yeah.
I don't?
No, you don't.
You just get 1,000 glory.
So, Chris, your father died in the year 468. Father died gloriously in battle. Gained 1,000 glory, so he's going to be 2,752. And what was the total that you got for that first roll? 60. 2,812. 2,812. That's how much glory your father had.
I thought I got the 90.
No, that's just the second set. You might be behind.
No.
You always roll first.
Okay.
But so put it this way, my guy lasted until the very end, and he only has 2,631.
So I have more than you at the moment?
Yes, I can't get
Only
him.
by a marginal bit, really.
Yeah, but put it this way, there's tons more to do, and you just got 1,000 right off the bat, so that was huge.
So what you're going to be I'll figure out what your total is, Chris. But for right now, your family history is dead. Your father died at Snowdon. I'll write that down. Give it to you later. Snowdon, father.
So was he actually able to sire me, though, first?
Yes, you were born in like 64 or something. Killing Vortigern. Dying gloriously. I'll have to come up with a reason why he died gloriously there. Snowdon. Okay. And what'd you roll? Rob?
10.
Okay. You survived. I'm going to add that 90 in. 7. And you survived. 69 through 72. Many Saxons come over from the continent and settle in Kent under the king, Hengist, and High King Aurelius Ambrosius maintains an unsteady peace with the Saxons, Irish, and Picts. Despite their raiding, his younger brother, Uther, makes a name for himself as a great warrior encountering the raids, leading his hand-picked warriors on raids to enemy territory. Okay, so roll a d20. Rob, obviously.
16.
16. Gain 200 glory in the fighting. Damn. Okay. 73. The Saxons, confident in victory, march into the Thames Valley. King Aurelius Ambrosius raises an army to resist, but loses the battle in a major Saxon victory. Roll a d20.
17.
7. Oh, damn. He's getting it. Roll at the Battle of Windsor. Roll below.
This one's a tough one.
Yep.
50%.
13.
Got it.
Survived. Gained hate Saxon's passion. 2d6 plus 6, but you already have a hate. Well, actually, you can roll again. Roll your hate Saxon passion 2d6 plus 16, or 2d6 plus 6. Because you could get higher.
You did.
Ah,
I'm
crap.
sorry.
No, you need a 2d6 plus 6.
Yeah,
can roll
I don't
for
know.
you.
I don't know what I just did.
You did a general. There, I rolled it for you. Unless you want to roll your own.
No, that's fine.
Okay, so it would have been higher anyway. There's like a minuscule chance that you could have gotten higher, but you survived. You need to get a 30 times 1d6. I think it's 0.5 because the battle was a loss. Yeah. 75. You gain 75 glory. 75 glory. 12, 1, 61. I'm doing kindergarten math here. I'm probably going to sound like an idiot on camera. Oh, God.
So good.
Okay. Because I'm trying to get through this last bit so everybody can go to bed.
I'm tired. I'm enjoying myself.
Okay. So that was 70. That was 73. So 74 through 76. The Saxons of Kent roam and pillage the land. Only fortified places are safe, and peasants suffer terribly. Roll d20, Rob. 8. Survived garrison. Served garrison duty and survived. Gained 25 glory. Gained 25 glory again. 7, 8, 7, 1. 77. Another Saxon king, Eliel, lands in southern Britain with a large army and takes over the area. Many peasants flee, but others are captured and enslaved. Eliel renames the land South Saxony or Sussex. Aurelius Ambrosius marches with his army to oppose the foe, who was reinforced at the last moment by the Saxons from Kent. Ambrosius is lucky to escape with his army. The Saxons remain. Roll a d20.
19.
Oh, served garrison duty and survived. Gained 25 glory. One of these days. One of these days you'll have a fight. Okay. Okay, so 78 through 79. For years, Aurelius Ambrosius has been building a fleet of ships in the ports of his western lands, and this year he musters an army and sets sail, sweeping across the southern coast where he destroys the fleets of the Saxons in Britain. Then he sails to the continent, destroying all the hostile shipping as he goes. The British army lands in Frisia, which is like the Netherlands today, doing great damage to the Saxons there. And winning a battle against the barbarians, the Saxons in Britain begin vicious raiding and retaliation. Okay, so roll a d20.
16.
16. Sailed with the High King's fleet, gained 25 glory, fought at the Battle of Frisia. Okay, so you're going to get 25 glory on top of that. So you're going to get 7, 3, 8, 1. And you are going to get, roll me a d20.
4.
Ooh. You died. Does your father, I don't think he does. Pretty sure he doesn't, because you used it above, didn't you, for your marriage?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that is the end of your father's tale. He died in Frisia. Fighting. Died to like an arrow or something.
Dysentery.
That's highly likely, actually. He just died. It wasn't honorable, so let me put this down. So,
Well, at least both my grandfather and father both had glorious deaths.
that's pretty unheard of, by the way.
Even if my grandfather was kind of a schmuck otherwise.
He didn't get the chance to shine, really. So, at that point, 480, an army of Saxons sails up the Port River into Salisbury. While planning for the battle, Aurelius Ambrosius is poisoned by a false doctor. Despite his illness, Ambrosius marches with Uther against the enemy, whom they meet at Menevia, which is in Salisbury. Ambrosius confronts the foe while Uther takes his army around to the Saxons' rear and cuts them off from their ships, attacking with great vigor. It's a great victory for the British, but Ambrosius is killed in the fighting. Through 81 through 83, Saxons are relatively quiet during this time, but with small bands raiding here and there. There are no armies marching. It is reported that many of the women and children of the Saxons have now settled in the lands that they had taken over. In 84, another wave of Saxons arrives by boat and settles the land of Daria, aided by the Saxons of Britain and some rebellious northern Britons. They attack the lands of Malahote. Their army defeats the northern defenders, lays siege to the city of Aborkum. King Uther raises an army and hastens northward to join battle. Obviously, as Aurelius Ambrosius had no sons, Uther took over his spot. He was elected. However, when Uther brought his army up there, he was anxious to relieve the sorry inhabitants of Aborkum, is drawn into a trap and fights a desperate battle for which he barely escapes with great loss. After the battle, King Uther refused to give up, and with the battered remnants of his army, he sneaks north under cover of darkness and falls upon the celebrating Saxons, who are both drunk on victory and ale, and women, most likely. The Saxons are slaughtered, and Uther claims a great victory. All right, and the next year is 485. King Uther suffered heavy losses and raises many troops to make up for it. He orders all squires who are ready to muster at Windsor Castle to be knighted. Okay, so going into play, you are going to have. Let me do this for you. So on your character sheets, I need you guys to put in, for Chris, there's a glory section up somewhere at the main page. You should be able to see it.
1 second. I didn't have my sheet ready.
You're going to have 282 glory at start.
Okay, 1 second.
Rob, you're going to have 186, or 187.
All right.
All right. And there is one more thing I want to take care of so we can find out where your manor is. Let me find out where that is currently. Go ahead and give me a d20 roll while we're waiting.
2.
6.
Manor. 2 and 6. Okay, Salisbury Manors, where are they? There. I'm looking for where... Oh, and we need to do what your family is notable for. And I'll go into character generation, like how you create characters with you individually. If you want to, look at the video with Tet, because we go over some stuff, and I don't think we go too in depth with it, but we talk about it. But I will work with each of you individually. 2 and 6.
I mean, we did the whole character build.
Yeah, I think we did. I think there's some things that we skipped over, like your item, like you got an extra thingy. I think it was a horse. You got an extra horse.
Was that based on the race?
Yes, it was. It's based on your race.
Yeah.
Traits and passions, maps, your manor, family. Connection, middle-aged knights. Well, actually, both of you give me d20 rolls right now.
13.
16.
Okay, 13, 16, and 6, and 2 and 6. Okay, Salisbury Castle. I don't want any of that. Yeah, we can call it here, and I'll use your 2 rolls right here, and then we'll work individually because it's getting kind of late. Yeah. So if you got questions, you can ask them now, unless you need to skedaddle.
I probably ought to call it a night.
All right.
So I ended up having the highest glory.
Yeah.
All right. See you, fellas.